Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I am your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Steve. Steve, this is the first show as Premier League champions, bro. Number 20, number 2, depending on how you look at it. How do you feel about getting a guard of honor from here on out, man? How did it make you feel watching the celebrations last week?
The celebrations were chilling.
Yeah, goosebumps, right?
Yeah, no, dude. It was amazing. And I think the Guard of Honor is optional.
Oh, but it's good
It's a
sportsmanship.
tradition and it's the right thing to do. And I think everyone will do it, but I believe it's optional. They're going to do it today. Chelsea's going to do it today. I know that. Um, but yes, first time we've talked since being champions, and it feels great. It's almost a little bit of relief. I don't know how you feel. We'll get into that today. But it's almost a little bit of a relief. It's like we've come so close so many times. This year, we've known for a few months that we were going to win it, and now it's finally here. And we'll talk about like what the rest of the season might look like today. But I hope that we go strong lineups because I want to finish with the maximum amount of points. There's people that I want to see play, and everyone's calling for Chiesa and Endo and Elliott just to really see what we have, and then also like give them a chance to get some time. If you're gonna mix them in, great. But still, we need strong lineups. We need to win these games.
The rest of the season, I think Slot's going to mix it up heavily. In an interview, I think he actually said that he's going to go with different lineups. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was kind of like a hybrid mix. You know what I mean? Like some players that he started throughout the year, some not so much. I feel like he might just, Van Dijk might sit and he might just throw Kwanzaa and Kanate in there. No?
I don't think so because he still wants to win. It's tough to win without Van Dijk.
No, that's true. That's true. But if it was up to Van Dijk, he'd play every day, right? But when has Van Dijk sat? EFL Cup. It's the only time he sits. He plays
Pretty much.
every other game. So, yeah, you're right. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he'll mix it up. We'll obviously see today. But going back to the celebrations, I think that one thing I want to touch on is how Slot paid tribute to Klopp in the way that he did. I think it was clever. It was probably something he thought about leading up to that. And I think the fans, myself included, really appreciated it. For me, that was the most emotional I got during the celebrations. Looking at the crowd and singing that sort of thing. Obviously, definitely emotional. But, for a manager to show respect to the previous manager, the way he did, and, I could be just talking out of my ass here, but no other teams are doing that. No other teams are paying respect to the previous manager. I mean, it's just one of those things that really exemplifies the fact that, even in this transitional period, the respect is still there and the family mindset of the club is still there. Like, yes, Klopp was before me. This is Klopp's team. I literally made no changes to the team, but I came in and won. Could you accredit that to me? Sure. But he gave Klopp, who hasn't been here in a year, basically credit by doing what he did. And I love that. It really, really made me emotional, dude.
I think Slot knows that he was incredible this year as a manager. But I think he also wants the public to view him as a hardworking, humble guy. Which to some extent he definitely is, right? But everybody has that sense of pride and accomplishment. And he knows he managed his ass off this year.
Yeah.
And he will get the credit. People will give him the credit. He just doesn't want to be the one to like bring it on himself.
Of course. No, he doesn't cross me as that kind of guy. Yet no bullshit. Like he'll say it how it is, but not arrogant,
Mm-hmm.
Just like, hey, Kwanzaa, you sucked. You're benched for 6 months. That kind of guy. But
Kwanzaa started the damn season and
yeah.
his season was over.
it's Oh man, that's
60
always
games later, we're still like, damn, Kwanzaa. Like when somebody
damn.
brings up Kwanzaa this year, at any point,
Yep.
that's the first thing I think about is that below average half of football he had. It wasn't even bad. It was just below average.
See you
Like,
later. Benched.
see ya.
Let's head over to the chat. Hannah, Oyvind, Ardio, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for being in the chat. Make sure you smash that like button. Hannah saying the celebrations for McAllister's goal literally measured on the Richter scale, which is wild. Ardio, best club in the world. Nothing can change my mind. I think that goes without saying. Oyvind, referring to Slot, giving credit to Klopp. It's because the manager usually gets sacked, and don't leave on terms like this. It's very different. It's funny you say the manager usually gets sacked because the first team I thought of when I brought up that point was Chelsea.
Me too.
First team I thought of. I was like, Chelsea didn't give credit to anyone in the past. Yeah, and Steve, this team, will you look back at this particular team, right? We always talk about the 18-19 team, even the 17-18 team. You look back at this team, are you going to say to yourself, God, this team was unbelievable? Does it feel like this team it was a standout year? Or to you, does it feel like it was a great year? I mean, obviously, winning the league and, everything else that followed, but does it stand out to you as oh my God, this team dominated the whole season? Or has it been kind of a quiet dominance, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mentioned this last week. It's felt like we're silent assassins a bit. And it's because we have a different system, a different manager. I think in part, and the fact that City's not like what they were. It's just felt like a different year, if we're being completely honest. When I think about this team, I think about the solid pieces that we've always had there. The Allisons, the Van Dykes, Konate's really like turned into one of the best.
Sure.
But for me, besides Salah, I think about the midfield this year.
Mm-hmm.
And like midfield dominance, which I think we exhibited all year across Gravenberch, Soboslai, especially in the second half of the season, and McAllister, who's just always putting in a shift, as well as Jones.
Yes. Jones.
Endo coming in and when called upon and doing great. When you think about a team that's midfield is very, very solid, a lot of times it's not going to be as exciting or stand out as much as the 17, 18, 19, 20 years when we had that front three that was electrifying, all of them, putting up crazy numbers. When you had Bobby pulling the strings, it was a different style of football. So I do think for a number of reasons it's felt different, but there's no doubt we're going to look back on this team and remember certain things. Slot's first year, Gravenberch emergence, McAllister becoming world class, Soboslai finding his footing again, Salah's unbelievable
Unbelievable.
season.
Arguably his best year. Arguably his best year.
Oh, it's his best year. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna remember this one. I don't know if it'll be the best or my favorite. Probably not, but we will remember this one for sure.
I can already tell you, one, it hasn't been my favorite season to watch. Now, maybe that'll change. Maybe, next year, 2 years down the line, I'll think back and I'm like, man, I really liked watching that first year under Slot because of the change of system, because of, like you said, the emergence of Gravenberch and McAllister and, that sort of thing. But right now, it didn't carry the same level of excitement. Now, Oyvind says this year our competitors have been normal, which kind of plays into the hands of the people who are saying that the league hasn't been as competitive. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with this, but I get what you're saying. And not superhumans, cheaters. For example, Man City have been dealing with injuries. You had De Bruyne out for pretty much most of the season. You had Rodri out, and we could debate whether or not that impacted their competitiveness, but the fact is it did. I mean, we agree on that, right? It's now whether that would have changed the outcome of the season. then we're getting into a slippery slope. But it affects your season. I mean, we've gone through this before. If you're missing both of your top center backs, it affects the outcome of your season. I think we overachieved on those seasons where we had a lot of injuries. And that's another thing after you give your input here, I want to talk about.
For City, it's not about De Bruyne as much as I love him. I really think he's a special player. I would love to have him at this club. The only City player that I love or respect is Kevin De Bruyne. I would love to have him here. There's been rumors floating around about that. I just think his wage demands would be too high. He wouldn't come over here for $150K a week. He could go to Saudi and make $1 million a week or something stupid.
I think he ends up in Saudi, to be honest with you. I do.
I don't think so. He wants to stay in England, he said. I think if anything, he might go to the MLS.
You think Brighton pick him up?
I don't know if you want to go there. Maybe Brighton, Newcastle.
Ooh, Newcastle. A Villa. Could you see him at Villa? Maybe a Villa. Back
at Chelsea.
Chelsea would totally take him. I could see that 100%. That's a good take.
Yeah, but I don't know if he'd want to go there because of the chaos that is Chelsea Football Club right now. But anyways,
yeah,
we were talking about Man City. Dude, it's all Rodri. We talked about this in the last couple shows. As soon as he went out, that team crumbled.
Mm-hmm.
We've never seen anything like that. Not that I can remember. Let me know in the chat, guys. Has one player ever gotten hurt? And because of that, the team goes from, they may have even been in like level on points in first place or something. They were up there. As soon as he got hurt, a catastrophic slide where they lost like 6 straight at one point.
We went through that. I don't know,
right, but not because
it was because of an injury. Yeah. Well, wasn't that the year that Van Dijk tore his ACL? I mean, the timeline wasn't he tore his ACL and then we lost 6 straight. He tore it early in the year in like October or something. But December through February, we did lose like 6 straight at home or 5 straight at home. I remember that. I think it was the same year too. But I get your point. Oyvind says we had 500 players injured. Yeah, okay. But the timeline was a little bit different. So you can't underestimate Rodri's importance to the Man City team. Now, how they will adjust when De Bruyne leaves will be interesting. It's slipping my mind. They just planned on signing someone. God, I'm upset. I saw it this morning. They're looking to make a bid for someone, and I cannot remember who it is. It's a midfielder though. But I don't want to hold up the time.
I saw something recently as well, and I can't think about it either.
God, it's right on the tip of my tongue, dude. Oh, that irritates me. That's been happening to me more and more. I think of something and then I can't. It's right there, and I can't find the words for it. I can't remember the exact name or something. Oh, that bothers me. Gary says, sell Jota, Diaz, and Chiesa, sign Alvarez and Sesko. So, dude, let's just jump into the second point of discussion here. I saw yesterday for the first time that Liverpool would be open to selling Jota for about $55 million. First thing that crossed my mind was, why would we sell Jota? And then before I could even finish that sentence in my head, I was like, he is injury prone. He's always injured. The productivity's there. And when you think about 55 million, you'd still make a profit because we ended up getting him for around 40, 45. And this would signify a big summer transfer window if Jota goes and we know Darwin's already going. So there's 2 attackers right there. All right. Let me just ask you first. Would you sell Jota this summer? Okay. So we're all in the same.
I'm there. I'm there. That point.
Yeah. So selling Jota, selling Darwin.
Think about it. He's our best finisher, but like, who cares? Give me somebody that's in between Nunez and Jota, finishing wise, that's just fit. Like, I'd take one of those players that falls in between those two and lose those two. Lose a body and just gain availability. Or you go in and you get somebody like Alvarez or Isak, and he's going to be worth Nunez and Jota.
So that's what I'm thinking here. I think Jota and Darwin get sold. All right. You use that money to get Isak because that's what we're being linked with. Now, that's if we're assuming that Liverpool are following the same model of sell to buy, right? Everything I'm seeing, though, is that there's going to be a big budget for transfers. That doesn't change anything. I guarantee we're still going to sell people. And those two are included. All right. But Trent's leaving on a free. So let's just assume he is. So I can't think of another player that we'd sell. Correct me if I'm wrong, because now I'm seeing Diaz is looking to extend. So if Diaz extends, which I think would be a good idea, honestly.
We should keep him.
We should keep
100%.
Diaz. We should keep Diaz. You have Gakpo. You have Salah now with the extension. And so you do need, at that point, I think you need two attackers. You need Isak. You need an Alvarez. You need what's the dude? Hato? Is he a midfielder or an attacker? The Ajax guy that we're linked with.
I'm not sure.
Oyvind, Jota got 6 Premier League goals. There are 38 players with more goals than him in the league. Dustin says Wissa. I think he's Brentford.
Dude, give me Alvarez. Why not? I think Isak might be a little bit better. Alvarez has 27 goals in all comps.
He's at the Atletico, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hannah says keep Chiesa. I think we keep Chiesa. I think the two that are gone, for some reason, when I saw the Jota thing, it actually registered like, wow, we actually might sell Jota. And the thing is, Slot keeps his cards so close to the belt, or the whole team does. I don't know who he necessarily likes and dislikes, except Darwin. Except Darwin. Darwin's the only guy that we kind of know he doesn't favor. But everyone else, I mean, he does. It seems as if he favors most players in the squad. And that makes it hard for me to determine who's going to leave and who's going to stay. Because we also have these heavy links with McAllister going to Madrid. You've always had the links with Diaz to Barcelona. Connor Bradley could come up and replace that right back role with Trent leaving. And then you have Kirkez being linked and Housen. Let's call him Housen because I've seen Herson and Housen. Okay. You need a right back then, right? You need to purchase a right back.
Yeah, but who?
That's my question. Frimpong.
He can't defend.
That's
the problem. Yeah, but like this guy really can't defend.
He's more of a wing back.
Not a defender.
Yeah. RTO says cheeky swap Nunez for Alvarez. Dude, swaps don't happen. They just don't happen. There's no trades. It's not equitable for the club. The clubs don't just swap players anymore. Goal ratio in the chat. Okay, I like this. Take note. Gakpo scores every 148 minutes. Salah scores every 188 minutes. Jota every 190. Diaz every 198. I'm going to take your word for it, and let's just assume that's accurate. Gakpo is the most underrated forward in the league. I look at Gakpo the same way I look at Matip when Matip was here. Gakpo is sensational. And whenever I see a stat that justifies it, whether this is true or not, someone can verify it for me. I'm going to go out on a limb for him. Because Since Gakpo has played exclusively on the left, we have seen truly what he's capable of. I don't know why Klopp played him through the middle as much as he did. Maybe his size. But dude, Gakpo's a left winger.
Well, he had Diaz over there. He wanted them both on the pitch.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, you're right. But oh God. Slot played Diaz through the middle, right? I'm trying to even think who started last game. Diaz, Salah, and who started through the middle?
Gakpo.
Was Gakpo in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I'm going crazy.
Or Diaz was in the middle. Gakpo was on the left.
See, that's what I was thinking. I think Slot plays Diaz through the middle more often because he knows, like, Gakpo, when he's on the left, the difference in production is remarkable. Dustin says, not quite Matip yet, but agreed. Diaz is negotiating with the club for an extension, so it looks like he's staying. Yeah, Gary says Eza is another option. Or is this, you mean Eze? Or do you mean Eza? Is there Eza? Eza might be a player I'm not familiar with. But Eze, I'm thinking Crystal Palace is Eze. I still think Gakpo can be a good through-the-middle player. Salah, Diaz, Gakpo last game. Okay. So let me just propose something for you, Steve, and then you can tell me what you think. So you sell Jota and you sell Darwin. Trent's gone, and that is it. Kelleher. Okay, Kelleher could leave because Mamadashvili's coming in. So that's 4 players gone. Okay, let's assume Isak's coming in. What are these
or
big...
a player of that caliber?
Sure,
big
Alvarez, whatever. Let's just say Isak is the guy. All right. What are the big summer transfer plans that we're seeing, like that we're hearing about? What are these players that are kind of under the radar players? Like I saw something this morning. Oh my God, dude. Twitter's just full of all these random players that I just don't know anything about. Like midfielders from Stuttgart. And I look at that and I'm like, why midfielder? When our midfield is stacked, no one's being linked with a move away unless you can maybe say McAllister and Endo.
McAllister's not going anywhere, but there are rumors that Harvey Elliott could move on. There's rumors that Endo would want to play more, right? There's things that could happen. You also need a ton of bodies there. You need a ton of bodies in the midfield. You need 7. As far as I'm concerned, you need 7.
I think you need 8.
Okay, you need 8. Great.
I think you need 8.
The big summer transfer plans to me are going to be a big money signing up top.
So Isak, let's say Isak.
Isak, Alvarez, one of these guys. I think you're going to get a right back, a left back, and a center back.
Okay. So let's say Huijsen and Kirkez, right? We just raid Bournemouth for their entire team. Yep. And then so right back, the only one I haven't seen any other links aside from Frimpong, dude. Any other links?
I saw one and I'm trying to remember who it was, but not a big name.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean,
and I wouldn't be surprised if they go for like a right wing if they don't keep Chiesa.
Yeah, I don't. If Milan offered us 30 mil for Chiesa, I'd probably take it. I'd probably take it.
But also, we keep forgetting that Slot has these players he's worked with in the past. There's got to be one he's got his eye on.
Right, and that's where I was going next. This guy Slot, he knows what's going on over there in the Eredivisie or whatever, you know. And I will be the first to say I don't follow those leagues as closely. So the up-and-coming players don't know anything about them. Right? Until we're linked and I do my own research, I don't know anything about them. I only know the big players, right? So like Gary Richards says Daniel Malin is another attacker. He's not coming, right? I think he still plays for Dortmund. You know, that's one of those players we were linked with a few years ago. It's like, nah, it's not happening. Wait. Are you talking about the Dortmund right back?
Yes, that's who I saw.
Yes. Me too. Okay, I saw that one. I saw a price tag of like 50.
Yep. Sounds
Okay,
right.
so we saw the same player. Who is that, dude? I want to look that up. Hold on. All right, it's that time of year, Steve. Your least favorite time.
Gary made a good point earlier somewhere. I don't hate this. Keep Gomez as a second right back. Plus, people have forgotten about Jaden Dance. Jaden Dance, who knows what'll happen there? He's
I love him, by the
promising.
way. I'm sorry.
He's
I love
promising.
him.
Yeah, of course. Joe Gomez, like, I love Joe Gomez. I would love to have him as the second right back option or even the first, right? They could battle it out, whatever. Problem is, he's just not going to stay fit. He's been out for months.
What happened
From
to
what?
him? What
From
happened?
what?
I don't even know what happened to him.
No, I know.
All right, got it.
He's a great utility player. He can give you a shift at center back, left back, or right back. I would love to keep him. I would like to think, though, that he's hungry for game time. At this point, he's got 2 Premier Leagues. He's got a Champions League. He's been here for like 10 years. I don't know how long he's been here. A while.
Long time. He was one of Brendan Rodgers' first signings, dude. From Charlton Athletic. Legendary.
Man still doesn't have a goal. Unreal.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy, bro. And he's come close too. Literally inches. Oh man. Anyways, so Benjamin Sesko was reportedly watched by scouts on Saturday as RB Leipzig side denied Bayern Munich the Bundesliga title for 24 hours. The striker made his mark with an outrageous finish in the 3-3 draw. So Isak Sesko is another name.
Somebody said Sesko in the beginning.
Yeah, I did see that. Another one I saw, Kingsley Coman. Yeah, I'm exhausted with that because he has been another player we've been linked with every season, every transfer window for at least 5 years, man.
He's not even young anymore.
No, how old is he? He's got to be 30 now. He's got to be 30.
No. He's probably he's probably like 27, 28.
Oh, man, dude. I swear all right. So, you mentioned another one, Harvey
He's 28.
Elliott. That's so crazy to me. I feel like he should be 38. Harvey Elliott, you brought up earlier. A move to Newcastle could be in the cards for Harvey Elliott, Steve. What do you think about that? Because that to me sounds like a beautiful transfer for him. I know it hurts. Just take a second. Think about it. And the reason I think it's a good move is because, one, playtime. He's going to get much more playing time at Newcastle, okay? Because, dude, Harvey Elliott or Miguel Almiron. You know? I mean,
Almiron was really good last year, but he
had a great season last year. However, it's going to be he has more of a chance to play at Newcastle than he does here. You're still in a team that is considered a top 6 team now. Okay, I feel like Newcastle are considered a top 6 team now. And you have a team that has now won a trophy. That chip is now off their shoulder. And they're developing players. Eddie Howe, great. I think he's a great manager. I really think Newcastle have something here. And I think it's an exciting prospect for a player like Harvey Elliott, who's still unbelievably young and has one of the highest ceilings of any player we have on the team, but he's kind of hit this plateau, right? And I think he's hit the plateau because of playing time. And we saw it last year. Klopp took every opportunity to put Elliott on the pitch. Literally every opportunity. I think he had the most appearances or something, or he played in every game, or there was some stat. And it's just, it hasn't moved the needle for him. He's still, you see these flashes, but he just needs more game time. Maybe he needs a new system, a new formation. And he might be looking at that as much as he loves Liverpool. Of all the teams, I think Newcastle would be a brilliant move for Harvey Elliott, Steve.
Here's what I think about it. I think he loves Liverpool. I think he would be totally down to fight for his spot, and that's what he has done. I mean, Kyle, he was a nailed-on starter like in 2021 before he snapped his leg. Again, I'll say it 1,000 times. Those first few games of the year, he was our best player. One of the first names on the team sheet, no doubt. Then he got hurt and he came back. It took him a little while. Last year, he played a ton. I thought he was fine last year. Not spectacular, but here's why I think he might be open to a move. It's got to be to a club like Newcastle that still has prestige and is going to play in big games and Champions League football and things of that nature. Real Madrid wanted him, and he's been at Liverpool, and he's played hundreds of matches for us. He's not going to go small time. He's not going to. He was one of the hottest young names in Europe, and he still thinks he has it. But here's why I think he would be open to a move. International football. He is one of those players that's on the outside looking in on the England squad. Without playing time at Liverpool, it's going to be really hard to get noticed and get in there. There's a lot of competition in that attacking midfield role in England, and I think he deserves to at least be called up a lot of times because I think he's got the skill. But if we don't see it because he's not playing as much, how can you make that argument? He's got to think about his career now rather than his loyalty to Liverpool. That's what he needs to think about. I would hate to see him go. I mean, I love him. I think he is such a important piece to this team, even if it's not so apparent all the time. But whatever happens, happens. I think he would be open to leaving so that he can get more recognition on the national scale.
So that's an interesting point because we never talk about the international implications of anything really because frankly, neither of us
because we don't care.
We don't care. I don't.
But the players do, man. They
really
do. They're so proud to. In lots of cases, even more so proud than playing for their club.
Well, that I can get, right? I mean, I do get it. If you're a player and you get the opportunity to represent your country, it's different, you know? I mean, it really is different. But the Harvey Elliott thing, I think that's a good point you made. I don't know if that's necessarily the driving factor. I wonder if he even cares.
He cares. He's entering his prime. He cares, I think. He must.
No, I mean, he cares.
Man.
You're talking about international, right? You're still talking about caring about that.
Yeah, I think it's both. I think in order to play internationally, which everybody is so proud to do, you have to play domestically. You have to play at a high level. You have to play a lot. And Newcastle is just a great shout because it's like they're not a small club. They're not going to get relegated. They have some big names. They have a lot of money. It could work.
I think it's a great shout, dude. I really do. I feel like, just that Newcastle move. And it seems like we have a relationship with Newcastle right now. Follow me here, right? So you have the Kwanzaa link, right? And the Anthony Gordon link, and that negotiation that kind of fell through.
Oh, okay. There was Gomez as well.
Gomez, that's what I meant. Or was it both? Doesn't matter. All right. Mm-hmm. For Anthony Gordon. Okay. You have the Isak links, right? You have Harvey Elliott now being linked with Newcastle. That's not a bad team to have a great relationship with. You know, another team that's not a bad team to have a good relationship with, Brighton. Another team, Bournemouth. All of these teams that are really good at identifying talent, or at least Newcastle seems like everyone I think in the world thought that when Newcastle got bought out, they were going to become the new city and they were just going to just spend buku bucks. But at a certain point, you got to reel it in and think, all right, look, we can't, or maybe Chelsea is a better example, not so much City. I think City are actually better at identifying talent. But But Chelsea are just like, let's just go buy the most expensive dude and throw them together and see if it works out.
They're an embarrassment. I don't even want to talk about that match today, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
They are an
Well,
absolute embarrassment. I can't. We can't. Kyle, we can't.
So
don't bring up that club again on this show.
So you have teams like that you want to have a good relationship with, because let's just say, I don't think Liverpool are short of this at all, but let's say your scouting department doesn't necessarily have the ability or the resources or the time to scout up and coming players, because you're more so looking for set in stone world class athletes at their respective positions, right? You almost rely on the teams like Brighton, like Newcastle, like Bournemouth, like I don't even know, or some other teams that we've bought from in the past that are just better at identifying.
Southampton.
Thank you, God, that's a great example. You almost Leipzig on these teams, because that's their MO. That's their business model. Identify the young talent that has high potential, high ceiling, develop them and sell them. And Liverpool appeared to have a great relationship with the Premier League's best version of these clubs. And to me, that's a really good thing to have, because especially with Newcastle now, who I think are going to start doing that. I think, they are more above the Bournemouths and the Southamptons in the sense that everyone knew Sandro Tonali. Everyone knew Alexander Isaac, right? People knew these players, but they weren't superstars. They're not even superstars now, but they weren't stars. They're just like, this guy is being linked with a lot of different clubs. So Newcastle for Harvey, right? You have this mutually beneficial relationship where, look, we'll take your up-and-coming star who may not want to stay there because he thinks he's ready for the next level, and we'll give you one of our players who we think can play at that level. We just don't have the space. And then you just keep doing that. You keep doing that back and forth. Dortmund are the only team I can think of that have it both ways. They develop players and sell them on, and they also take players that maybe haven't found their footing at a bigger club. It's a really interesting relationship. So Harvey Elliott, oh my God, you know the name I just saw, Steve?
What?
Martin Zubimendi.
Arsenal, right?
Arsenal.
Yeah, I heard he's going to go to Arsenal. That's what they need. A third DM in 3 years. Let's get Party. Then get Rice.
Party's gone.
Actually, no. Screw that. Let's get Jorginho 1 year. Then we'll go get Party. Then we'll get Rice. Then we'll wait a little bit. And let's go get Zubimendi. Let's buy 4 DMs in 5 years.
Do you think, what is Zubimendi? How does he sleep at night? Like, you know how little respect? So I feel like, all right, from the outside looking in, I obviously don't know the guy. But if you turn down a move to Liverpool because you want to stay loyal, and this isn't me being salty because he's choosing Arsenal over Liverpool. Let's just bear with me for a second. You turn down Liverpool because you want to stay loyal to a club, and then less than a year later, you go to a different Premier League club? What's the point of that, Zubimendi? Just stay.
Dude, they're like 7 points above relegation in La Liga. They're middle of the pack. If they lose a couple games in a row here, they'll be like 16th, 17th in the table. -5 goal differential. 12 wins, 6 draws, 15 losses. You stayed for that? You could have walked in to the starting lineup. We never would have known Gravenberch was legit. You could have walked right in and won the league. And been a hero, a cult hero. And now you're rotting on the bottom half of the table in La Liga, below teams like Rayo Vallecano, Celta Vigo, Mallorca, Osasuna. Who? You guys have 42 points in a shit league. Liverpool's got 100 already.
Hey, Steve, guess who doesn't have 42 points?
Man United.
United.
Oh
United are dog shit. Terrible football club. What is happening at Manchester United?
Bro, we can't. We
Oh,
can't.
I will.
We can't today. We're going to have one of these shows because the league's wrapped up. We're going to win it by 47,000 points. We are going to bash all of them. We're going to do a Chelsea, a City, an Arsenal, and a United bash fest.
A bash
and
fest.
a Zubamendi. Dude, I can't even believe this. I can't believe you brought up that name. I just want to smack that dude in his head.
Yes. Just smack him. Like, wake up. Do you feel like your loyalty was rewarded? Smack. You're 17th in the table. Smack. How do you sleep at night? Smack. It's like,
well, they're actually not 17th in the table, but they're like 5 points above 16th.
I don't care if they're 8th in the table, Steve.
Yeah, they stink.
All right.
And you're right, though. You're right. It's like, dude, also, we can't do it. We can't do it. We're not gonna do it. But Casado and Lavia, I hope you guys have fun clapping in a row like this today. I hope you guys have a blast. Really, just clap it up. Enjoy it. Enjoy that nice little guard of honor as you guys sit there rotting away at Chelsea for 9 or 10 years.
Because your agent said, "Ooh, you can get more money at Chelsea." Do you guys feel like idiots? You must. I'm telling you, anyone who goes somewhere for the money, unless you're Roberto Firmino, who just won MVP and the league title, I think, something along those lines, you're not happy with your decision. You're not. You can fake it. You can act like you're happy. You're not happy. You went for the money. I don't even think you guys play. Do they play?
Casado plays, yeah.
Casado plays?
Casado's actually he's had a good year, but Lavia's been hurt for like 4 years.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah. Also, Arsenal lost yesterday.
Yeah, to Bournemouth.
I think they're probably resting everybody for PSG in their defense. They probably put out a shit lineup if I had to guess.
Yeah, they probably did. As far as I'm concerned, Chelsea's putting 9 players on the pitch every game to start. Lavia doesn't.
No, I'm looking at the Arsenal lineup. They put out their strongest lineup, so I stand corrected.
So even more
Guess
funny.
who scored? Hoyson, Hold'em.
There's
Huijisen.
Hodgson.
Hushkan.
Is that Roy Hodgson?
That's Roy Hodgson. He actually, Bournemouth signed him last week. He suited up yesterday.
The legend.
67th minute. Yep.
Oh my God. Absolutely legendary. So, but why does it feel to me, Steve, that Zubamendi is just an Arsenal player? Like, he would just fit into that team perfectly just because he's an idiot. Just were made for Arsenal, Zubamendi. And I can respect, looking back at it now, wanting to show your loyalty. But if you actually cared about showing your loyalty to Sociedad, you'd stay there the rest of your career.
Yeah, you wouldn't decide you want to leave. No, dude, he decided that he made a mistake like months later, didn't he?
Of course he did.
Well,
I decided to stay at Real Sociedad.
Dude, he is an Arsenal player. You're right.
He's
The
so
only one that I
Arsenal.
think is at Arsenal that's not an Arsenal player is Declan Rice. I think he could have gone anywhere he wanted.
You're right.
And I really respect his game. I think he's a great, great player. I think he's humble for the most part. He's starting to score goals. He scored yesterday. He scored those 2 free kicks. I do like Declan Rice. I don't think he's an Arsenal player. Like, I think
You're right. He's
kind of a Liverpool player, if you ask me.
He's a great player. He's a leader. He is just a good, down to earth guy. He doesn't cross me as an Arsenal player at all. At all.
I think he's like a Liverpool type player or a like Bayern Munich type player.
Yeah, I could see that. It's a good shout. Man City wanted Declan Rice. Yeah. Screw Man City.
Well, he's not an idiot, so he wouldn't go there.
Yeah, he's not an idiot.
Any update on the charges, Kyle?
No, probably not. They're probably innocent.
So that freaking trial got pushed off and was supposed to start in August.
Yep.
Kyle, we're coming up on May. We're in May. We're coming up on summer.
We're coming up on August again.
Any update?
I don't know. Let's take a look.
The biggest murder case of the last 500 years? What's taking so long? Either they're fraudulent or they're not.
You know, Steve,
I was evading taxes and lying on an audit, I'd be in the can in 3 weeks. Why is it taking 3 years for these guys?
You know,
think about it, Kyle. You get audited by the IRS, right, for tax evasion or whatever. Let's just say you do. They don't even give you a chance to fight it. They just send you something in the mail. It's a bill. They do all their research on the back end. There's no conversation about it. So if you're like cheating financially or doing sketchy things, like, why is it taking so long?
When you have money, you can do this. When you have millions, if not billions of dollars, you can fight and push the case off. You hire the best lawyers, and that's what you do. On the flip side, all right, it makes you look really guilty. And it also makes the entire system look a little bit corrupt. However, I do feel as if I was in Man City's shoes, I would do the exact same thing. I would just keep pushing it off, trying to gather a case for myself to defend myself. Oh man. But I'm reading this article right now. Okay, the verdict is unlikely to be delivered before the summer. What else we got?
Verdict? Was there a jury?
I don't know, Steve. I can just read this article if you want.
No, don't.
I'm doing it.
I'm trying to ride this wave. I'm trying to ride this high of Liverpool, and we're getting sidetracked.
What else is new? I love getting sidetracked. And okay, they insist that the delay isn't a surprise given the complexity of this case and what is at stake.
Who's writing this? Manchester City's reporter? Complexity?
Complexity. I mean, 115 charges, that ain't exactly a cakewalk, Steve.
Kyle, there's single human beings that have that many charges. And the cases take 3 months.
This is what I'm saying. There's a lot of roadblocks being thrown up by the Man City lawyers trying to just buy time or whatever the case may be. And apparently things are double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked. And the stakes are becoming increasingly high. And oh my God, that's so funny, dude. As soon as that article finishes, you want to know the next headline? Literally in the same link. All right. Both sides will be playing war games in terms of looking at what ifs and if there will be a lot of work in trying to plan the next few steps. The stakes are becoming increasingly high. Man City could swoop for Tottenham star Udogie.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Please help me.
It's all corrupt, dude. It's all corrupt. It's all corrupt. It's all corrupt, man. Liverpool, it seems that they get the most shit for doing everything by the book and trying to be very clever in how they approach things, and they just get shit on for it. And now you have a team that might actually be doing something wrong, and there's no urgency, it seems like. Why is there no urgency? Like you said, send the bill to City's headquarters and say, this is your penalty. There's no urgency, dude. There's no urgency. All right, I'm sorry.
If it leaks into the summer, that means there's going to be no punishment next year. Because they won't leave them in the league or start the season with them in the league and then like pass them down right away. Do you know what I mean?
There'll be like a delayed. Well, so let's say
they wouldn't
this.
relegate somebody and bring somebody up mid-season.
No, of course not. But I think what'll happen regardless, let's say there is a guilty verdict on some form. What Man City will then do is appeal the decision and either try to have a suspended sentence, or they'll appeal to have the punishment not be all at one time, but maybe spread out over several seasons. There's different ways to approach the punishment with whatever that is. And it's just not going to happen. They will not get relegated, dude. There's no way they get relegated. And that's the sad part, right? I mean, should they? Sure. But I can almost guarantee you, and this is founded on nothing but pure gut instinct, people. They are going to get a hefty fine and maybe a 2 to 3 to 4 transfer window ban. That's it. It's all they're going to get.
I think they're getting relegated. It's as bad as it gets, Kyle. Cheating is the worst. It's the worst thing you can do. You got players that get banned for 9 months for gambling on games they didn't play in.
That's
like, what, dude? You can't cheat.
I know.
It's the worst thing you can do in sports is cheat.
Excuse me.
And it's not like there's little things. Like Pickford is like a straight up cheater. He's a cheap player with the distractions and the time wasting. Like, that's cheap. Cheating. However you want to look at it. Players flopping. That's cheating. It's against the ethics of the game. Okay? This is something that you can actually win and lose over and change the course of your club, of the history of the sport. That's what's happened here. They've altered the trajectory of the English Premier League by doing this stuff. They've changed the history of the league. Other teams have been held down because of what they've done.
I don't disagree. But then the question becomes, Steve, how do you measure that? How can you quantify the effect that has had on the league? It would be very difficult to do that. Extremely difficult to quantify it. You can look, this is how much revenue was hidden, this and that. But you have to be a very good lawyer to quantify it, because then it's all speculation. And speculation in a court of law doesn't really hold any water. They're going to say,
there's definitely punishment guidelines they have. And it would be like a governing body that determined it. But the first thing you can do is take them out of the league that they did this in. Kyle, if I worked for Sky Sports and I was stealing or cheating or doing something so that I got more airtime than my colleagues, right? What's the first thing they would do when they caught me? They'd kick me out of Sky Sports. They'd fire me.
Right.
So the first thing you can do is get them out of the league.
Okay. You're absolutely right. I agree. That ain't going to happen, though.
I know you agree. It's probably... I want it to happen. I think it could happen. I don't know if it will. But
there's no way. Like, if it does, I want you to just think about this for a second. If Man City, who over the last 10 years has been one of the biggest names in world football, one of the most successful clubs domestically in all of England, probably technically the most successful over the last 10 years. Um, and the amount of revenue and all that stuff, you take all that into account. There might actually be a case for the corruption pushing so far as, look, we know they did wrong. We know that there's some malpractice here, but we can't take him out of the league, man. You know how much money we'd lose? You know how many new kids are Man City fans and De Bruyne and Holland fans and Pep and all this stuff, and we just take that away from the airwaves? I mean, that's advertisers who are less likely to advertise for games. Yeah, there's so now I'm getting conspiratorial on you, but I'm telling you, I'm telling you, there is a case to be made, as opposed to Joe Schmo on Sky Sports who cheated to get airtime. They're not losing too much money over that.
Okay. There are clubs in the championship that are bigger than Man City from a supporter perspective. They're more beloved. Think about I don't know, like, who's down there? Blackburn or something? Gotta be someone down there
You think
that has more
Blackburn?
supporters than Manchester City. I don't know. I'm just throwing a name out there that's like been around for a while, Kyle.
Well, look,
More history. Maybe
get
not
what,
as much revenue, but the league would still be it would be back to like an upstanding status. In good standing.
If they punish Man City to the equivalent way they've already taken away points from Forest and Everton, if they punish City accordingly, they will be back in everyone's good graces. Everyone's good graces.
That's all I got.
This summer, we got to find something out, guys. We got to find something out. And if something comes to light, they're selling. It's a fire sale over at Man City. See you later, Holland. So Holland ain't playing in the championship.
Dude, here's the thing. It literally could all be about Holland. Like,
you think?
Like, I bet you that's part of the decision-making process. It's like, can we send Erling Haaland down? I mean, he's that big.
Yeah.
Because think about it, Kyle. If it was Everton, they'd be in the 4th division.
I know, Steve.
If
I
Wolves
know.
did it, they would have been gone 3 years ago.
But that's where the corruption comes into play, man. That's where you're looking at,
like, delay it, but still, there's got to be some real humans on the other end of this thing that are still going to get their punishment and do the right thing, even if it takes longer.
I would love to think so, man. But my closing thought here, and I'll leave you with this. I'll leave everyone with this, okay? Your integrity is questioned when you're put up against something like this. All those governing bodies, right, who there's no one pushing for Everton to, like, hey, don't punish Everton. Hey, don't punish Nottingham Forest. But then you go to Man City, billionaire owners, massive names, massive funds, winners, what they've done for the league, let alone the city of Manchester. There are people behind the scenes taking a visit to you, making a visit to you, and they're saying things in your ear like, maybe you shouldn't punish this team. I'm telling you, that shit exists.
It does. It does, but you got to think that there's normal people that do not care about Manchester City and do not care about the revenue of the Premier League in such a short term. Like, even if it's 1 year, like, the Premier League will be fine.
I agree with you.
Sponsorships, all these sponsorships are already done. People have already signed all the advertisement agreements for next season already. They already got the TV deal sealed. How much could their viewership really go down? Who's really, like, dying to watch Man City?
A lot of people, bro. It's crazy. hopefully this summer we'll find something out, bro. Do you have any other closing thoughts, man?
No, Arsenal stinks. Man United stinks. Chelsea stinks. We're going to beat Chelsea today.
We're going to smack Chelsea today, I think.
That's all I care about. Thank you, everyone who's
yeah.
here and has been here.
All of our channel members, thank you very much. A lot of people we haven't seen in a while. Thank you to everyone who came. Shayna, Red Goal, Spencer, Raz, Scott, Gary. Thanks to everyone. Shout out to everyone. And we'll see you next week, guys. Enjoy the game today. And until next time, Reds, take care.